is Hot Seat Hawaii?
Beats me. What is it?
Hot Seat Hawaii.
Hot Seat Hawai is pretty much lots of lava, right?
Lots of lava.
Lots of lava.
That's it.
So, Mick, I know you've been doing this for many years. Bruce, you've been doing this for many years. I'm a novice to this. Let's talk a little bit about how this idea sort of spurned. You know, you and I met doing,
Well, yeah, I've been shooting the volcano for almost 35 years, and I met you at Ironman about 6 or 8 years ago, whenever it was, and we were shooting for ESPN. You were editing, and we became friends. And you found out what Bruce and I were doing, and found that intriguing. We were flying on a regular basis, first for the Pahoa flow. It was pretty interesting. And then after that stop, we kept doing it just once a week, going out and followed all the flow down, 61G, went in the ocean. And we just kept doing that kind of thing until all hell broke loose, and the Leilani eruption started, and then it was crazy, day after day after day.
When I met you doing Ironman, I didn't even know there was a volcano on this island. And I said, what do you do when you're not doing this kind of stuff? You're like, oh, I document the volcano. I was like, what volcano? I was so clueless. And then a couple years later, watching your videos on Facebook during the 2014 Pahoa flow, and I thought they were the coolest videos. And then I kept seeing cutaways of Bruce and the pilot, and I was like, man, I want to know what's going on behind the scenes. I want to know what's going on, what you think about this, what Bruce thinks about it. I want to hear Bruce's voice. And we talked about it for a couple of years before we came up with the idea.
Well, we came up with the idea to do Hot Seat Hawaii, and it was, it evolved over time, but it was basically try to get people that are well known to sit in that one seat that we have every week and take them up and show them the lava, and then depending on who they were, take them someplace interesting. Take them to see surfing, or take them to Uncle Robert's, or take him to show him something in Hilo that's different, Rainbow Falls, or all the different things, and just talk story and get to know them. We did actually do a few of those, but it never really got off the ground, and before everything hit the fan,
In 2017, we started, and we did a full episode with Clark Little.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was ready to go. We were ready to start pitching it 1 week before the 2018 eruption started, so we scratch.
Yeah, we changed course. Everything changed.
Yeah.
So obviously, if people want to know what this is about, you go to hotseathawaii.com. That's the shameless plug. And you see the trailer, and you subscribe to us on YouTube. And during the 2018 eruption, we met all sorts of different people. You guys knew a lot of these people. I didn't. But Jason Chan, yours truly, is one of these persons who sort of got into the fray, into the mix. And you see him in the trailer. And main reason I invited Jason here today was because in that trailer he really encapsulated, I think, what this eruption meant to you guys on a personal level. Mm-hmm. So we'll just roll that clip.
Yeah. Wow, I love it. Wow.
Trying to get out of there. This time right now for them is unbelievable. This is what they've waited for their whole lives, this moment right now. Kind of unsung heroes too, been following the lava for years and years, especially Mick, They're like little kids now. That was awesome.
What a dork.
Yeah, so Jason,
That's pretty cool.
Just kind of based on that,
Man.
tell me about when you first met these guys and kind of, their passion and how you see them interacting with the volcano.
Well, I came over probably about 3 years ago from Florida, and one of my friends is good friends with Bruce, and he told me as soon as I get to the island to look up Bruce, because Bruce kind of knows everybody, and he really likes the volcano, and so I called Bruce, and it was immediate aloha. He invited me to come on a flight, and then of course I met Mick, and just after that first flight, I felt like, and it's gonna sound cheesy, but I felt like I had a connection with the volcano, and then just the aloha that these guys extended to me. I don't know, it was awesome. It was awesome, and it was addictive. Just being around these guys and seeing their passion was pretty cool, and that kind of started it for me. And so I think I've been on maybe like 8 flights with them.
Yeah, we kept going to fly, and he would show up, you know, out of the blue. Here's
Yeah.
Jason again. you
Yeah,
know?
and that was before the whole Fisher 8 stuff. So what was really cool is I got to see these guys before all the hoopla of Fisher 8, and I got to see their passion before from what I saw, a lot of other people getting involved in it. And we formed a friendship. I feel like we formed a bond. That's kind of
Yeah, that's not good.
The camera doesn't like the interviews walking away.
so yeah, we
If there's any cameramen out there looking for a job,
so we formed a bond before all that, and I think that was really important. And then it was cool to watch that clip, and I, saying that they're like kids now and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of came out as we were walking, and it just felt like seeing them before that big eruption, and then seeing them as it happened. It was cool. It's like seeing them come alive, waiting for that moment. So it was really cool, And then from there to now, like I think we have a close bond, I feel that way, and I just kind of wait for that call when they want to invite me again, and then I show up, So I'm trying to stick to these guys like glue for the excitement. So.
like during that eruption, for me being a rookie, I didn't know we were going to be on the ground. I thought, oh, these guys are just going to keep flying to the helicopter. But then they started saying, no, we're going to hike in. We're going to get close to the eruption. And that freaked me out a bit. And then I remember one night we were going in, I think it was fissure 17. Ikaika invited us in. Disclaimer, there was no illegal trespassing involved in anything we shot. We always had an invitation from the landowner. And I remember Bruce being super excited and saying something like, I've never seen fountaining eruptions or high fountain eruptions before. And when I heard Bruce say that, I was like, oh, like I started realizing how special and unique this eruption was. And, being the first time I saw lava that close up on the ground, it was like, started sinking in for me.
My favorite part was Timmy hiding underneath the house and Jamie running away.
Jamie, our audio guy, Jamie Kalber.
Yeah, that was so funny.
I'm running too.
Yeah, that was the probably scariest moment of my life. I thought, like, man, I could die. And it was more the gases, I think, than the actual.
Yeah, the
there was
gases
lava
were
bombs.
bad that day. But it was funny when I asked you, you getting good stuff? Yeah, I think I got enough.
Bruce, I'm going back. I'm going back. I gotta go back. You gotta go back. I'm gonna go back. Okay? I got good stuff. Okay. I'm good, man. I'm out of here. Okay, man. Take care, man. I got your stuff? Yeah.
As much as I wanted to be brave in front of Shane Victorino, I was like, growing up in New England, like he was one of my heroes, hitting a grand slam for the Red Sox. I was like, I think I value my life a little more than this footage right now.
And Shane's eyes.
So it's post-eruption, right? What's life like for you guys now that the eruption has paused or power? Some people say it's done. I mean, Mick, you live in Leilani.
Yeah, that was intense. I mean, it was really, really intense. We were doing that for 4 months or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. It's taken me seriously until about now, just a little while ago, to kind of come down from that and calm down and get back to, feeling okay again. Not that I was twisting behind the whole thing. We had a job. The good news was we had something to do. It was a little different for Bruce because he didn't have a house right there, but I'm watching the flow right next to my house. So if I hadn't had that to do, I kind of would have spun out a little bit more. I did, but I was occupied. preoccupied, you know, and it was just, I had to do what I had to do. And that was a good thing to have to do that, because we were round the clock. We were shooting, editing, trying to eat, shooting, editing, trying to eat, trying to sleep, shooting, you know, it was just continual. And by the time we got done, I was exhausted. I hit the wall. I got to the point where I told Booth, I can't go anymore. I got to stop, you know, at least for a day, 2 days. But, you know, the little breaks we took, that wasn't enough to recover. And it's taken me a couple of months to really, you know, come back down to earth. What was it like for you?
During the eruption, you know, I think the adrenaline kept me going, man. I didn't want to stop flying, you know that.
Lava junkie.
But yeah, the excitement, you know, seeing that eruption. I mean, like we were saying earlier, you know, never seen that much lava in my life, you know. I mean, that was mind-blowing. But
Not very many people here have seen that much lava in their life.
yeah,
That eruption was beyond epic.
yeah.
You know, it was truly surreal to watch what was happening, because we've never seen something like that. Well, it hadn't happened for what, 200 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In that magnitude.
Yeah.
The Kilauea doesn't do that, you know, except rarely. And we saw a rare event. But it was, you know, it was so devastating. It was so beautiful. It was so powerful. It was so many things. It's just hard to even conceptualize. We couldn't quite figure out what we were seeing, you know, on a daily basis.
You're probably not going through withdrawals. You're probably
No, I'm-
over it, but you
no.
might be.
I am.
I hate to say this as I smash my microphone, but I mean, if it doesn't erupt again, it will, but I'm over it, you know. It's different when it's next to your house. When it's 500 feet away from your house, you know, it's like, stop already. And she didn't look like she was going to stop. You know, we were wondering about that.
Yeah.
Is this the next Pu'uo, or is this going to go on for years and years and years and years and years, you know? I don't think it is now. I think she's done, and I think she's going to be done for quite a while. But she will erupt again. But I'm good with taking a break. I'd like to take a long break, you know?
I was fortunate enough to be living with you and Ann in your home away from home during the eruption. You were evacuated, but I saw the roller coaster you guys were going through on a daily basis. Getting allowed to go back to your house, get a few things, wondering if that's the last time you're going to see your house. Coming back to Hilo, then a few days later, oh, we can go back again.
So the rocks are falling. It's time to get out of here. You're going to go down and look at the flow.
Yeah,
Don't get trapped. Don't get arrested.
I could promise the first one, but not the second.
And here's the vision. Your truck.
Yeah.
So many people in Leilani were going through that.
Yeah,
Never knowing.
it was nerve-wracking. You know, and when we went back there, I can say this now. I wouldn't say it back then because I thought I was going to jinx it, you know. But I never thought the lava was going to take my house. I just didn't think that was going to happen. But when we were flying and watching the river go by and it's, you know, so close, I'm thinking, how could it not? You know, it's inevitable. That river was the only thing that saved us. If it hadn't channelized and got, that was the worst thing that could have happened to Kapoho and vacation land, Kapoho beach lots. But it was the best thing that happened for us. Because if it hadn't channelized like that, it would have taken all of Leilani. You know, everything would have gone. So, you know, we got lucky. But it looked like, for all intents and purposes, it was just a matter of time. So.
What are you doing now, Bruce? There's no lava to shoot.
Yeah. Just going through my archives, man. Getting my lava fix. Just working in the gallery, you know, trying to keep the business afloat. But every week I'll go through my photos and look for something to post, you know. And I know there's a lot of lava junkies out there, so.
But you've got a lot of great stuff.
You know, yeah, well.
I mean, Bruce, you do. You have some of the most amazing stuff. You know, you're one of a handful of photographers that do what we do, mm-hmm. that are you know, top drawer, upper echelon, you know, and I mean, I know that thing of you look at it, you know, and you've seen it, and maybe it's not quite what you want it to be. You're not really good. It's really, really good.
Nah,
You know,
I
you post your
appreciate
stuff.
that.
You post your stuff, and you get hundreds of people that are telling you how great it is. You know.
I need more, man. Never gets old. You know, seeing the lava. Every time we go out and we shoot, I mean, I'm amazed at what we see. It's always different. It's just so dynamic, and you know, the colors, the textures.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I miss the smells. You know, even
Yeah.
though I'm allergic to sulfur.
I'll get to the point where I want to do that again. You know, I just want it to be someplace else.
Yeah, someplace else where it's not.
It's hard when it's in your
occupied.
backyard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we joke that we moved from Kilauea to Leilani so I could be closer to Pele, but we didn't expect her to move in, you know? So there's that.
Yeah, you know, that whole Leilani thing, I mean, it wasn't close to my home, but it was an emotional experience for me. I mean, I was just telling Katie the other day that I had a lot of childhood memories, you know, spending time down in Kapoho and vacation land, driving on the Red Road and visiting Mackenzie and Malama Flats. Used to do a lot of fishing there. And those areas are gone, man. I mean, I don't even have photos of those areas. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all up here.
Yeah. There's still a lot of the Red Road left, though,
Yeah,
you know?
it's not red though anymore.
Well, no.
The
Well,
red
I
section got taken out.
What about Pohoiki?
Oh, what a stunning beach.
Yeah.
Have you been down there on
Yeah.
foot?
Yeah.
Holy cow. We went down there on a Sunday. The parking lot was filled. There was not a parking space left, right? Probably 300 people on the beach. And there was plenty of room. You could have taken 600 more people, easy.
Yeah.
You know, just so much room. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Stunning.
I was just reading recently, one of the representatives from Puna, Russell Ruderman, introduced the bill to build a new boat ramp down in that area. You guys read about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little, not a little, maybe there's more than a little controversy, isn't there? Like whether to dredge, open up that boat ramp again, leave it as a beach, build the new boat ramp.
Yeah.
You guys have any thoughts on that?
I'd like to see it stay untouched, you know? I mean, I was telling a friend the other day that with this volcano, you know, our lives here on the island are just small moments of time in geological time, as opposed to geological time. So this volcano is creating, you know, a lot of people look at it as destruction in their perspective, but in the grand scheme of things, this volcano is just creating. And we happen to be in the volcano's path, you know? So, I mean, we flew over that beach out at Kapoho. I mean, it's gorgeous, you know? That, and the beach at Pohoiki. I mean, it's like, you know, these are products of the volcano's creativity, or, you know, part of its existence. And yeah, it takes, but it gives, you know. And I think a lot of the beauty of that coast, that new land that it built, I mean, it's not for, we don't see it yet. Not all of it is evident. I mean, those beaches are gorgeous.
Oh, there
but
are dozens of beaches
Yeah.
between Kapoho and Pohoiki.
Yeah.
There's probably 30 or 40 beaches.
Yeah, but you know, like that even that rocky coast, I mean, it's going to be great fishing. Maybe not in our generation, but for generations to come.
In 20 or 30 years when it cools down enough to walk
Yeah.
out there.
So
You know,
like
what Bruce was just saying, Jack Lockwood told me one time, a volcano is the only natural phenomenon that both destroys and creates. It does both of those things at the same time. A hurricane doesn't do that, a tsunami doesn't do that, a fire doesn't do that, you know, but the volcano does, you know.
For those who don't know, can you explain who J.P. Lockwood or Jack Lockwood is?
Oh yeah, Jack Lockwood is a former USGS scientist, and he's probably the foremost authority on Mauna Loa. Not that he doesn't know Kilauea, he knows both, but he's the man.
Yeah, he's a legend, man.
There was a quake Sunday, a 3.5 on Mauna Loa. And there was a little chatter on social media about, is there a little earthquake swarm going on? What's happening on Mauna Loa? Did you guys read into that at all? Or
Just a little bit, but it's stirring. I mean, Mauna Loa is inflated. We don't know when something's going to happen.
But Jack says that if Kilauea stays quiet, that's more likely that Mauna Loa will erupt.
Yeah.
I don't know the dynamics of that, but he indicated to us that the longer she stays quiet, the more likely Mauna Loa will erupt. Not right away, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. One time he predicted it was going to erupt in the next year or two, and 9 years later it finally erupted. But you don't know.
we interviewed him. You guys interviewed him as part of the documentary back in August, and I put a clip aside. So I want to play that clip. It's and I'll play it for everybody, but it's a 3-minute clip, but it's pretty interesting. And he's talking about if Mauna Loa erupted, what we might expect, And I think Bruce, we were doing it in Bruce's gallery, right? So, Bruce was kind of interested in what might happen to the Hilo area. But let me play this.
We have a pretty good record from, basically 1843 on in terms of what Mauna Loa has been doing. And I've published papers to point out there's a certain pattern. The pattern of Mauna Loa activity is the initial eruption. Well, there's a sequence of eruptions. And the initial eruption of that sequence will be entirely at the summit. That is, the eruptive vents will be above 12,000 feet. Can get a little bit outside of the Mukua of Eoveo, the caldera, but not very far. That's the initial phase. And there might be, like 1949, there might be a lava flow head on down, into Ka'u direction, but it doesn't go that far. But that's the premonitory eruption. Then what happened, the typical pattern, a summit eruption, then followed anywhere from six months to what I used to say 2 years, a period of relative quiet, but more inflation, and then another summit eruption. But that summit eruption is immediately followed by a flank outbreak. That's the one that goes down the rift zones. I got the wonderful pattern Pele set up for us, showing this, that the delay between the initial summit eruption and the later flank eruptions was from 6 months to 2 years, was what I based my, not a prediction, but a forecast after 1975 eruption, that we were going to have a Mauna Loa summit flank outbreak within 2 years. And she messed me up. I got too cocky. But that interval turned out to be almost 9 years. But it's still the same pattern. It was a summit eruption in 75, and then we waited 9 years, and then summit flank. And in this case, it ran, of course, down the northeast drift towards Hilo.
And how far, when that happens, how far away from the summit are the flank eruptions usually, or is it
Well,
just
there's not a usually. They can be anywhere. 1935 was fairly high up, and 1984 was fairly low down. 1942 was even lower down. And on the southwest drift, the amazing thing is 1907. There are 1907 eruptive vents that are very close to. Well, they're within the big subdivisions over there. 1868 was also down, right above the Belt Highway, and those eruptive vents are low down. They put lava in the ocean within not too many hours. Yeah, the threat to Hilo is not so. Your studio is fine, but the threat to Hilo is not so great, because it's a long distance from the potential eruptive vents way up on the northeast shore. You're going to have many weeks, months before a flow could cause problems. But on the southwest drift, the subdivisions that are built up there, there's homes built on top of 1887 eruptive vents. I mean, it's like a Leilani situation.
Oh, really?
We could have eruptive vents right down there. And that's definitely the most dangerous area in terms of hazard and risk.
What about Mauna Loa? I mean, you were involved with shooting Mauna Loa last time it went off?
No.
No?
I had just moved here. I had no video equipment, and Mauna Loa was erupting, and Kilauea erupted at the same time. And that was like my sign that, hey, I better get some equipment, And I went and got equipment. By the time I got the equipment, Mauna Loa was done. But Kilauea was still doing the high fountain eruptions once a month, once every 3 to 4 weeks. And that was mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing.
Little fear in Hilo at the time?
No, because it always went the other way. That wasn't, Hilo was not involved in that, but and it would never go on long enough to go that far. You know, it would only last for 16 to 30 hours, and so the furthest it ever got was down to the Poly, just a little over the Poly. But the high fountain eruptions would never. They took some houses in Willow Gardens, but they could never really go that far. It wasn't until she caused a fissure eruption and a lava lake, and then that lava lake fed flows that tubed and went down and started taking Kalapana. And Kalapana was, you know, he got hit 3 times, I think, but twice by Kupaya Naha, which came from Pu'uo, and did, you know, first time only took 17 houses. Next time she came down in 1990, she took the whole place, everything, almost everything. Right up to Uncle Robert's, where we still have gatherings every week down there. That's a great gathering place. But Kalapana was a real special place, just like Kapoho Beach Lodge, just like Vacation Land, you know. Beautiful place, but no more. You know, that's what happened.
That was crazy. The 1, 2, 3 days where beach lots and Vacation Land went, that was something that I never thought
2 days, man.
could happen that quickly.
Yeah.
You must have spent some time down there too before that happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it happened fast. Yeah, it was interesting to listen to these guys talk because going back to before Fissure 8, I'm listening to Mick talk now, and I can see that energy coming back, but I also remember how tired you were when Fissure 8 was going on. It feels like you've kind of recovered a little bit.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's really nice to see that, man. Yeah, because I could tell you were really tired during the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, I just hit the wall, man. I was over it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
It's kind of
Yeah.
sad to hear you say that back then too, when you said that you didn't want it any longer.
well, it's like I just said, I'd be more than happy to shoot lava again, just not in my backyard.
Yeah, I understood
know.
that too. Yeah.
I mean, I've said before, I have a certain amount of survivor's guilt, you know, because there were literally thousands of homes taken, or 1,000 or more, in my estimation, and, you know, ours didn't get touched. And, you know, why am I spared and all these other people? I mean, the people lost everything, not just their houses. The people in Vacation Land and Kapoho Beach Lodge, if they took the threat seriously, which initially they didn't, they were given like 10 days, and a few people took something out. But once they really knew it was coming, they had 3 days. And a lot of times they wouldn't even let them in, you know, they wouldn't even let them back out. They'd take stuff out and they'd come back and they couldn't get back in.
Yeah.
So most of the people down there lost every single thing in their house, plus their land, you know, bye-bye. I mean, it's just devastating to me. You know, I'm blessed, I'm lucky. You know, we not only survived, we're doing well, but, you know, so many aren't. Not fair.
That's the balance of being kind of a bystander and watching this happen, because I got to see you go through what you went through, but then also, you know, through seeing what's happening to you, really kind of get in touch with your feelings to see the rest of the community and the loss that they suffered. And listening to Bruce talk, Bruce is very emotional about it, and we can hear it in his voice too. So it was nice to be close to you guys during that to kind of get that balance, because I feel like if you don't know the volcano well, and you see the Fissure 8 going off, you just, as a bystander, you just want to continue to see that, but you don't get to see the backstory of what's going on. It's sad.
Well, it's a different perspective. When, you know, I've always wanted, no matter where the volcano's going off, I was always, let's go get it.
Yeah.
And we'd go out to my house to take some stuff out, and Bruce would come along, he'd say, let's go shoot lava. And I'm like, no. You know, I'm evacuating, bro. I don't want to shoot lava right now.
I was with him I was feeling like that too.
Yeah.
But then seeing you, it was weird. It was weird to see that whole thing happen.
It was weird for me.
Yeah.
Because it was been my passion my whole life. You know, and I was not in that mode. I was fine with flying every day and shooting it and editing it and stuff, but I didn't want to go out on the ground and shoot it. I don't know why. It just was where my head was at. I feel kind of weird even saying that, but it's true.
Yeah.
You know, plus I'm older now. I'm 70 years old. You know, I'm not running around on the lava anymore. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do that. I don't have the strength. I don't have the wherewithal.
Yeah.
And I was toast after doing it.
That's a great segue about running around on the lava, because one night you were running around on the lava, literally, and you went through the lava.
Yeah, well,
and
that's
we should add that Jason's a physician's assistant, and he's taking care of us throughout the eruption. I was in there with a little bit of a leg issue from a cut. You had a cut. I was in there sick as a dog from all the gases. So thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Mahalo.
Yeah, you're
right.
welcome. Shameless
that's
plug
right.
for Hilo Urgent Care.
And while we're at it, shameless plug for Extreme Exposure, Fine Art Gallery in Hilo. Go visit Bruce and buy some of his goods if you can.
But you know, most of that all happened on the same night. When Bruce said, let's go shoot the lava, and I went, no, man, I'm evacuating, right? And he said, come on, let's go. I said, okay, I'll go. And I had like shorts on, and you know, I wasn't prepared to do that. I mean, we went out and I fell through, and I got cut badly, and you know, it was just more impetus to me to not do that. You know, I'm not ready for that right now.
We were
But,
all like, let's go to Kilauea's after. And Mick and I were sitting there waiting for you guys to show up. And Mick's like, my leg won't stop bleeding. My leg won't stop bleeding. He's like, I don't think I can hang out here any longer. I think I left a 20 on the table for one drink to the waiter, and I forgot it, and we never drank anything, and we left. And I was like, oh, where did that 20 go? Nice
I
tip.
called up Annie. I said, Annie, I fell through the lava, and she said, oh, you know, where are you going? You're going to Urgent Care? I said, no, I think we're going to go to Kilauea. She said, what? I said, yeah, well, you know, we'll see how it goes. If it's all right, then we're good. If it's not, then we'll do something else. But yeah, that wasn't happening. It was a good thing you were there. You know, I got lucky.
Yeah.
I think we have footage of Jason
But
fixing up
the-
your leg right on the scene.
But the best part of all was Jason and Tim when we drove to Fisher 8. You weren't in the car, were you? That was a riot. And you could play that clip too. I know you have it.
I think Jason already shared. I think Jason shared that on Instagram. There's a lot of F-bombs getting dropped there. It's not one of my nicest.
Yeah, Tim doesn't
My
wanna
best
share
moments.
that. Yeah.
Classic.
I thought you were gonna have a heart attack, man. It's like, oh, well, should we do something? Do we?
I think we need to end this show. But before we do, let's see. I think I have a link to that.
You were really scared, and it was actually pretty cool to see, man. It was like, it was neat.
Why are we doing this? Sorry about being a nervous piece of
Don't be nervous.
And Bruce is like, cool as a cucumber.
What up?
Guys have your masks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have them handy because we
Okay.
gotta go through that.
Is this where we need to go to get the shot for real?
You think we'd be going here if this wasn't it?
I mean, there's no other place to get the shot.
Doesn't what you mean I get the shot.
What street are we on right now?
Volcano. Volcano is the only street that goes through. Hawaii.
way out?
Yep. One way in, one way out.
Part 4, you to me?
This is amazing.
Oh, this is the yeah.
Oh my god!
Stop for a second.
Oh my god! Holy
Stop for a second. Because I gotta get part of you.
Yo, take it easy.
Take it easy.
Holy Look at Bruce. Unreal, man.
The panic in your voice was too much.
That's probably for me, the most amazing moment, seeing that, like following Bruce through that, and that was amazing. Isn't even the word, really. Yeah. You could attest to that. You were
science fiction.
We were both really scared. I was really scared. I was scared.
Yeah.
Because you even said, as you're going over the cracks, we don't know when we're coming back, if we can come back, if the cracks are gonna widen more or what. So, man. Yeah. But once you saw the fissure, all that went away.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, we're there.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was an amazing moment. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, the volcano is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
I'd agree.
that maybe childbirth is even more amazing, but same level, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the birth of the earth, right?
yeah,
Actually, I said that to Kikuhi one time, and she said, "It's not the birth of the earth; it's birth. It's just birth." The Hawaiian view of the volcano is really special. It's really different. They don't even hardly go out and see it. I said to her one time, "How often do you go?" She says, "Rarely." And I said, "Why not?" She says, "I've seen it. I know what it is. I don't have to go see it, you know." But there's such reverence there, you know. There's such, it's life to them. It's what it's all about. Very cool.
It's powerful stuff for sure. I think we should wrap this one up. We'll try this again. This is a little trial thing we're doing here. It's sort of a podcast.
We're on
It's
trial.
sort of video.
Are we talking guilty?
But yeah, it's sort of a shameless plug to try to get people to see a little bit of the stuff we shot for the documentary that's now in post-production, just starting to edit it.
You know, I think us waiting this long has been a good thing, not only for us to get our feet back on the ground, but for the community, because I don't think the community is ready to see this yet. There are going to be a lot of tears and a lot of, you know, emotions when this show goes on. I mean, just the Nova show pulled out from a lot of people. So, and ours is going to be probably a bit more visceral than that. You know, they did science. And
A little less science and a little more
Yeah.
stories about people, and it's really a view of the eruption through your lens and your lens, and the people that you guys interacted with throughout the eruption. A lot of amazing people, you know. Ikaika obviously was a huge part, and if not for Ikaika, we wouldn't have access to 90% of the eruptions on the ground that we did. And so, you know, you can't say anything but thank you. It's been fun. Any parting words? Any shameless plugs?
Not lots of lava.
All right.
No lava.
Mahalo, guys. We'll do this again.
All right.
I hope.
Yeah. Aloha.